open enrollment. As part of committee information tonight, next week at the regular board meeting, we need to make a formal declaration or statement as far as the quantities of available seats related to open enrollment per statute, and obviously that ties this our policy as well. My recommendation is on the top of the page, and then the numbers to back that up are on page 2 for you. And then I also attached the first 2 pages of the open enrollment policy. So I just want to walk you through this real quickly. We really have never set a limit on kindergarten enrollments. They had pre-registration last week. It looks like right now Woodfield may have 2 sections. Trailside right now just has enough students to have 1, and then Evergreen is probably sitting at 1.5 sections. So I mean that'll probably, but it's way early. I mean it's early January yet. Evolved into 2 sections. But the point is, what I'm getting at is that we've typically never set a real concrete limit on kindergarten open enrollment. And if we have, we've always let the siblings in of kids that are related, obviously, to kids that are older in other grade levels. The next piece is worth a little bit of dialogue conversation with committee members. If you look at the numbers specifically about 1st and 2nd grade, the class sizes in the sections that we're staffed at, basically how the numbers were determined is I took the class size range based on the guidelines of board policy, and I took the midpoint of those ranges. Okay, and then I subtracted the number of actual head count in those classes or grade levels as they exist right now. And specifically, what I'm saying is that in both 1st and 2nd grade district-wide, we're already over that midpoint, and we're at the very high end of the class size range guideline. The other piece that I would talk to the committee about is that this also takes into consideration a section reduction at Woodfield for next year's 2nd grade class, just because the enrollment has not sustained itself to stay at the minimum to justify 3 sections. So obviously you've got that piece, but then you've got the drawback of not having necessarily open enrollment room in 2nd grade if you take that section away. Something that the committee could recommend and ultimately the board approve next week is that we create a waiting list for those grade levels, and then when we get to August, if we have space based on families that moved out, or we have space based on the guidelines of class sizes, those families would be invited to send their kids into 1st and 2nd grade. For grades 3, 4, 5, and 6, we have space, and those spots are delineated out. Approximately 10 spaces in 3rd grade, most of them are at Woodfield. 13 spaces in 4th grade, most of those are at Trailside. 22 spaces in 5th grade, most of those are at Evergreen. And then 6th grade, there's 13 spaces, and all of those are at Woodfield. 7th and 8th grade, we've never set limits as far as open enrollment is concerned. And as you know, we typically get a pretty significant influx of enrollment from a number of surrounding schools, both here in town and some other feeders, and just natural open enrollments aside from the other Waterford feeders. The last piece that the committee and the board ultimately need to declare next week is the number of special education seats that are available. Last year the board said 0, okay, and that even included speech and language. The exception to that was if there were siblings. We allowed that to happen. The recommendation from the special education director basically just is listed on that page. At the bottom of the page, there is a possibility of 3 seats at Evergreen in special education and 1 seat at Woodfield. The caveat, though, ladies and gentlemen, that you need to keep in mind is that does not take into account any families that would move in over the summer into the district. And while we had staffed last year, it actually laid people off because we were anticipating a drop in special ed. That did not materialize, and we had a significant influx. So I guess, I don't know if you heard Doug say just 30 seconds ago, maybe we should keep it at 0 district-wide.
We did that last year, and I think we should do it again this year. Do you have any feelings on that? I guess I would tend to agree until the time that we find that we truly are reducing our enrollment now of special ed students. I would agree with what you're saying.
Okay. So my only other question then, obviously the full board can talk about this before they approve it next week. And if you need to think about it, that's fine too. Is there anything that you want to do about first and second grade? Do you want to set up a waiting list? Do you want me to add the section back in at Woodfield so we've got space in second grade, even though it's going to be below the class size guidelines? There's some options for you to think about. I mean, the flip of it is, next year, our state aid's going to go down again because we're declining enrollment and our property values haven't taken, it's the same thing we experienced this year. So I'm anticipating another state aid decline and we're going to have to make some budget reductions.
Yeah, well, that kind of begs the question, why would you do kindergarten wide open? I mean, if you get to the tweaking point of two classes or two sessions, why would you take two more kids and thereby have to have one whole more session or something? I think I would be limiting all grade levels. Unless you have significant space.
What has history shown us regarding kindergarten? Has the accepting open enrollment caused us to open sessions?
Not significantly. I mean, Shirley's building at Woodfield, she had a significant influx of kindergartners unrelated to open enrollment. Sure, there's a couple of open enrollment kids there, but I mean, she could probably talk to you extensively about what she experienced over the summer and even into the school year after the year started, just the number of kids that came into kindergarten that we had.
Yeah, we're 22 in class right now. Yeah, we started about 18, and it's just been continuous growth from.
That's what I'm saying. 18 is manageable. 18 is manageable. 22 is a lot, I think.
We're 22. Yes.
That's why I bring up the question: should you be eliminating that open enrollment?
This is what helps our declining enrollment.
Plus, really, most of them weren't open enrollment; they were moved in.
So, no, our enrollment numbers do not include the open enrollment, correct?
The head count that I gave you tonight does. Yeah.
No, I'm saying when you said DPI.
Correct.
That's a transfer.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not. We still have declining enrollment. We're just padding it with a lower cost recap of somebody else's student. They're paid whatever they collect.
Well, it's just under $7,000.
Yeah, they collect 10 or 11,000. They only spend 7,000 this way.
Correct.
So,
I think the other piece, and I know you know this, but our open enrollment in is almost double the open enrollment out as far as the quantity of kids. So there is a budgetary advantage for the open enrollment for us.
So if you stay where you are now, you have to double what you got. You're not going to have a significant amount going out. You'll slowly go. But I'd say you don't want a big influx of open enrollment.
So what do you want me to staff the kindergartens at? You want two sections at each building then?
It's absolutely necessary. I mean, there was the years where we had 15 people. It was ridiculous. 15 students in a class. I think the taxpayer is not going to bang for the buck out of that one. But I think 22 is a sizable number. It's pretty unmanageable by a single person in there.
I think it's sizable for Waterford, and I know that's going to make some people uncomfortable when I say that. But in previous districts, we had 24, 26 kindergartners in a classroom.
Yeah.
And yes, it's a lot. You put an aide in there to help manage all the little bodies that are new to school and you help with their zippers and tying shoes and all that type of stuff. But it's not unheard of to have larger class sizes at the kindergarten level. But that's something that the community and the district haven't done here. So
The students, it's nice to get them as early as possible if you're going to get them, yes, as opposed to seeing them in first or second or third grade. Well, it's really nice. You don't know what it's going to be until just before the beginning of school.
I recommend we get a waiting list of
You can kindergarten.
and staff it at 2 sections per building. Okay.
Because the other caveat to that one is that you need the ability to move any one of the kindergarten. not have it parent choice on that one.
And we've done that
Yeah.
pretty well. We don't split up the siblings though.
Oh, correct, so I mean, the siblings may impact the upper grades at that school we go to, so.
Correct.
That's what we need to go ahead and move it.
Right. All right, so what I heard you say is come up with more concrete numbers for kindergarten for next week. We'll have limits on kindergarten, waiting list. And then where are you at with first and second grade? You want a waiting list?
Yeah.
Okay, declare that as a waiting list. And then 0 on special ed, unless it's a sibling.
And you've done a very good job of keeping the numbers, not keeping the numbers, but organizing the sessions such that we don't have the very low class participation rate, whereas previously we had. And right now, we're kind of at the high end, most of our classes.
We are.
So
we
it's
are.
not that we have a lot of extra space.
No, we don't.
That one time we were way at the moment.
And although I do like the idea of bringing more open enrollment students in for the cost of keeping the dollars in our budget, I don't see that some adequate sessions. That just was kind of a handoff.
Well, if you think about it, we would probably need about 10 more kids to justify a teacher. And that's a teacher that's fairly new to the profession. Does that make sense? You know, $6,500 to $7,000 per child. You know,
Kind of a wash.
yeah.
Yeah, it's still pretty early, like you said, too.
But yes, it is early. And I'll keep you updated as kindergarten has to move along.
Because this year we got an influx in later. Any questions?
That'll be coming for action the next Monday. And then the other